The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. And today we have a really great guest. He's been a friend of mine for over a decade. And we've worked together, and he's really a great actor, and his name is Noah Forrest. Welcome to the show, Noah.
Good to be back.
It's great to have you.
How you doing?
Really good. You know,
That's good.
Life is good.
That's your motto. Life is good, right?
Well, that was my dad. Remember?
Yeah, your dad. Yeah, your dad's a motto.
Yeah, and my dad played your father in.
That's right. I played the favorite son, right?
The prodigal son.
Right, the prodigal. Right.
But also the favorite, basically.
Yeah. I remember that.
I was the runt, and you were like this Adonis.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was the great man in that little town with the one bar and
and
all the
duck
shenanigans.
Oh, that was great. But that was a lot of fun back then.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Right, and it was amazing that we could actually do it on a shoestring budget. I mean, it was just people just wanted to be on the show too, and it was pretty good.
It was a good time. I've always thought that the potential was there for it to be a much bigger hitter, but it was, it's hard to do when you don't have
anything.
Facilities, sound control. I mean, we were filming in the bar there when they were open for business. That's not the easiest thing to do.
I'm going to do something that's really not that professional. I have to.
No, do it, man.
Wipe my nose. So what have you been up to?
Well, what I've been up to, I got this movie out, as you know, called Killer of Men,
right.
And we're in pre-production on the next one.
Wow.
But the reason I wanted to talk about that again is because it's out on all the platforms, Prime, Fandango, Tubi,
right.
Apple. So it's available for people to watch.
Right.
And Zvi Friedman, the director,
right.
is a guy you're going to be hearing a lot about. So I wanted
Killer of Men.
Killer of Men. It's kind of a mind-bending serial killer, nutty guy running around New York. But I want to read something real quick.
Okay, cool.
Because there are people that have been writing some good things about it, and this great director, Ramin Barani, who directed the great film The White Tiger. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Okay.
He was Oscar nominated for that.
Wow.
And his first film was an independent feature called Man Pushcart. So that's another movie people have got to go out and see if they haven't seen it.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what he said. In his debut feature, Killer of Men, Zvi has created the definition of low-budget auteur cinema, a haunting exploration of a man's quest for humanity amidst an emotional void. Zvi's vision is one to watch and support. Oscar-nominated director Ramin Barani. Wow. I'm not going to read all this stuff, but they're on Rotten Tomatoes. A woman who's one of the top movie critics. She's from Australia. She wrote some great things about it. So it's also released by Quiver, which is a legitimate big distribution company. And that's what's going on right now. So I wanted to mention that again.
How did you meet this unbelievable artist?
How did I meet him? Well, we were just talking about this. It was actually through backstage, through a casting call there. I submitted, he called, we met, and this was during the pandemic.
Wow.
And this was a tough time because I was paranoid to be around anybody. And there's a scene in the film where, people haven't seen it, I'm not going to say what happens, but the protagonist, the main guy, who's running around creating all this havoc, he works for me in a bodega I own. And let's just say we have a problem. Initially in the script, we were supposed to have this big confrontation. Okay, This physical confrontation. It's going to be a little violent. And I told Zvi, I said, look, I don't want anybody getting near me. I'm paranoid about this shit. I don't want anybody coming near me. I don't want to get COVID. At that time, they didn't really know what it was all about. And so, as a result of that, the scene ended up being crafted in a better way. It was better than if we had had this kind of choreographed physical confrontation where maybe, because when you choreograph something, it's got to look right or else it looks terrible.
Right.
Okay. I can't tell you how many of these low-budget films I see these fight scenes that are just pathetically stupid. And I'm not going to mention a movie that we know about, some guy made that we weren't in. Look ridiculous. All right. The best way to film it is from a reverse angle. So if you're facing me, okay, and the camera is here, and you snap your head back from a punch, if you keep it tight like that, you can make it look well. But when you try to choreograph a whole scene, it doesn't come out well. So anyway, so it ended up working out better
Right.
because I was too paranoid to be around people because I didn't want to get whatever the hell was going
Right.
on.
I mean,
Because I didn't know anything
COVID.
about it.
God, it was terrible.
But yeah, so that's what happened. And I said we're on pre-production now on a film. The only I can
great.
say about it is it's a dystopian piece, and it's going to be pretty insane. It's going to be incredible, and that's it.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that it's always good to hook up with directors and filmmakers that you work well with and that you can communicate with, and they trust your talent. And I love it. I love working with, I have several film people that, filmmakers that I work with, and it makes it a lot easier if you have a good, respectful relationship. Right?
It's very difficult to get distribution now if you're an independent filmmaker.
Right.
Facts are facts, right? Getting mainstream distribution is basically impossible. So what a lot of people will do, as you know, this is included with Prime, but a lot of people will list their film on Prime and they have to watch it and like it, and then you can list it for rent or purchase, okay? So that's self-distribution, because a lot of these companies, I did a film and the company wanted, there's a different film with a different person, it's called Moving in 2008, you can rent it. They wanted control for 7 years, and the other company wanted control for 11 years.
Wow.
So basically, and they wanted you to be responsible for deliverables, which is advertising material. They want you to pay for it. And they're going to own your film for 7 years, 11 years, but they'll get it out there, okay? And they'll take the majority of the income that comes from it, just because a lot of filmmakers are desperate for legitimate distribution, right? So in this case, Zvi got very fortunate in the people he's met. Carrie Woods, who was a great director, who directed Copland, the edgy film Kids, and the Scream series, whatever. He liked the film and said, I'm going to finish this for you. I'm going to help you get it finished. And he did, because, this guy says what he's going to do.
It's fantastic.
Top line people, a lot of people in that business aren't like that. So he's one of the top people in this business. Got great respect for that guy. He's one of the greats, great guy. But that's the challenge. And a lot of people, when you make a film these days, they say things like, oh, you're making a movie. Oh, I see. Everybody's got this kind of skepticism about that business in general, as you know.
Definitely.
So when things happen, I'll talk about them. So I'm going to save most of it for later.
That's always been the way you've
Yeah.
You've dealt with the business and how you handle yourself, is that you never say things that haven't happened yet or are not definitely going to happen. You're a straight shooter.
A lot of people like that, shooting their mouths off, talking about this is going to happen, this will happen, that happens. Shut up.
Sometimes I'm one of those people. I get excited because I got the part, and then I realize, do I really want this part? But that's a separate issue.
No, that's different than booking something.
Yeah.
Than saying, I'm going to be somewhere filming something, and it's just ridiculous.
Right.
Okay? Right. Don't say it if it's not happening.
Right. But there've been a couple of times recently, that I realized that maybe I've taken on projects that were like that I really shouldn't. Even though the excitement of getting a part sometimes gets to me, but then the realization that I got to play that part sometimes also, changes my mind sometimes about these things, especially on backstage. I have to be honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's even though when you do book something and you're going to do it, there's a lot of pressure. You get down there, it's all happening, and you're like, it can be somewhat daunting sometimes.
Right. So, any other projects?
Oh, wait a minute. I want you to talk about the infomercial.
That was fun. Yesterday I did again on backstage. I can't believe I'm doing a backstage commercial, but I did. I got this job on backstage. They were talking about some. We were talking about this vegetable.
Well, come on, tell us what it does. Get to the point. People want to know.
It talks about erectile dysfunction. And there's like 4 fruits and a hormone that's supposed to help you in that area. I play the doctor, and
you're the doctor telling people to take this. I'm
telling the world and a specific patient, and the patient meanwhile looks like he's like this virile guy. Looks great, and it's going to be funny because the things I say to this guy, because he's having problems, is it was very interesting, and I'll share it with the rest of you one of these days. But it was fun.
Please share it with us. We want to know.
Yeah, we made some money. You know, I made some money on this thing, and it's fun. It's fun to work, but it's totally telepromptered, and you know, and I was like doing teleprompters for like 4 hours straight. And
That's tough, teleprompting.
It is
I did a Bonnie and Clyde documentary years ago.
Right.
And for some reason they wanted to read it straight through clean. And it was like 40 pages of text.
Right.
Overwhelmed. But you know, it's good training though. It's good stuff.
Right. So anyway, did you bring a trailer?
I think I do have the trailer, yes.
And,
Again.
could you just give us a little
Give you a little heads up.
into
It's
it?
a trailer for the film,
The film is again?
Killer of Men.
Right.
Zvi Friedman. He goes by Zvi.
Right.
Great director, and everybody should check it out.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Shall we share it now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's enjoy this this video.
Are you going to tell me what's going on?
What do you mean?
You don't look well. You're white as a sheet.
Hey man, customers are complaining that the merchandise is coming broken. Can you explain that to me?
It's good, man.
Do you enjoy it?
No, not really.
Then why do you do it?
I don't know.
What's going on in that head of yours? Behind those eyes.
Wow, that was pretty intense.
Gets to the point, doesn't it?
Well, I can't wait to see it, and I can see it. I mean,
You can see it's Clue Prime. It's on Tubi. You can just go. You don't. It's on Apple too. It's everywhere. You can check it out.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Right.
Look at it.
Oh yeah. It looks a little scary. I don't know. Is
I
there
think
a
you can
scary
handle
fact?
it. I think you can
factor?
handle it.
Okay.
I think you can handle it.
So, anything else in the pipeline right now?
Yes. I got stuff in the pipeline.
But you don't have to talk about it.
No,
But-
no. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm a producer on this next one too with them.
Cool.
They've allowed me to come in.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, it's still Carrie Wood's film. You know, and
Oh, that's great.
so I'm just.
Is that like your main focus right now in terms of?
Yeah, that's it.
Why not? I mean,
I don't need to fortunately, I don't need to do anything
the other
else.
stuff is like a different game.
I'm in a good spot where I can pursue what I want to pursue.
Right.
I'm not worried about anything else, and that's fortunate. But I've also staked a lot of time. I put a lot of damn time into this, and that's it.
That's yeah. Well, you've been acting for a while, right? And you're a really good actor. I mean, no one plays the type of character that you play better than you do.
Not going to argue with you.
And no,
It's
I
true.
mean, I know.
When it comes to the things I do well,
I know. I mean, even in Scriptless, which was like this low-budget, small thing, you really lifted it to a higher level with your acting. And some of those things I look back at, you know, from 2014, and I'm still like, it still rings true. It's like really good stuff.
yeah, I think it holds up. I mean, the whole concept holds up.
Right.
And I think for a lot of people it was a good opportunity to strengthen their abilities in that area.
Right. But like all good things, they do come to an end, which is kind of sad. I don't know. I'm wondering if I'm ever really going to produce another show. I mean, I have the opportunity with LMC TV to do it, but it does take, it becomes all-consuming. I mean, do you find that what you're working with as a producer now is all-consuming?
Fortunately for me, my production aspect of it is more financial right now. So I'll own a piece of things,
Right.
but other people will be managing the other intricacies, the day-to-days, et cetera.
Right.
And like I said, the only reason I was able to do that is because they allowed me to. I
That's
said I
great.
would like to get in on a smaller level and be a part of it. They allowed me to do that.
That is so awesome.
So, you know,
and to be aligned with such fantastic, like artists and people in the industry.
it's a lucky thing because you feel very confident. Also, Gigantic Studios, Jonathan Gray is involved, and so the facilities and the people, the know-how, the knowledge. But you know what's interesting to me is that when you talk to someone like Zvi or somebody, a director who's got a vision, they're so confident. Like, oh, we're going to do this and that and the other thing, and they can see it all, and they write easy too.
Right.
You know, like Zvi's written like 4 or 5 feature-length screenplays like nothing. I wrote one that I'm confident in, but it nearly, I mean, it's like I don't write easy.
Right.
It's a laborious, tough process.
It's wonderful. I mean,
So-
just to be part of a group of artists that are like a collective little group, it's it's fantastic, man. It's about time because you have this talent and you have this vision and you're a true type of person. You're not like a BS person.
No, not a
So
BS person.
basically, it's good to find other people who acknowledge the fact that you could be part of the club. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good thing, but look, life is what it is. I don't regret anything. I mean, if you're young and you have an incredible amount of success, it takes the arc of your life in a different direction.
Right.
So the people you know now, the people you care about in your life now wouldn't be there.
Right.
And you don't even know if you would be here.
Right.
So I never look at things in a reflective way like, oh, if this, if that, who cares, man?
Right.
I don't give a shit.
But you're living right now, and
Living right now.
and it's happening. It's
So
happening.
we're doing stuff, which is good. Where it goes, we will see.
Right. I have this little series that I'm going to be working on next month, or it was supposed to be like the middle of January. Now it's moved to the end of January, beginning of February.
What is it?
It's a series, and it's about gangs in New York. And
that's cool.
And I'm an underboss in one of the gangs, in charge of like properties that are owned by trying to like property assessments, all this kind of stuff I'm working on.
Right.
And then I'm having some issues with another underboss who's like the thug. And it turns out that underboss, who's the thug, is on this Uretsky legal commercial that's on every 5 minutes on certain on channels. And I'm watching this guy. I can't believe that this is the guy that...
Is that a personal injury attorney?
Yeah.
I did one of those.
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I got it.
I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you what I say. Such and such an associate's got me $400,000 for my injuries.
I love that.
It's like, yeah, really? Okay.
And that's the same kind of stuff.
It's the same shit.
But it's on like constantly. And it's like, I keep on thinking. And he and I are supposed to be like, who's going to be the next boss, but he's younger than me, I'm older, all this stuff. But he's more of a clown, and I'm more of a tough guy. So it's just funny. And I have the scene with the mayor of New York, which is fun. So
That's cool. Get to hang out with the mayor, huh?
That's it. And it's like there's 30 people in this 30 actors.
That's a lot.
In the pilot.
That's a lot.
And they have the scripts already for the full season.
Nice.
So now they're just looking for streaming.
On location or?
Location.
Yeah.
And studio, both. They have both.
Cool.
They have money, but they're looking for, again,
Everybody's looking for money.
distribution.
Distribution's the toughest. Money's the toughest.
Right.
Money,
The
distribution.
streaming, the whole thing is that they're probably looking at like Netflix, but they have friends in the people who are making it have friends in those streaming places.
Right, but you know what? That's just also something to hear a lot. Oh, I got friends there. I know
Right.
people there. Yeah, okay. Well, see what happens.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Again, I'm doing it for fun.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
nice to be a retiree.
Well, I'm not going to say the name of the show we did. I'm not going to say it, but you'll know.
Right.
I'm not going to say
Right.
who said ABC's champing at the bit for this. I was like,
That was fun, though. Our scene.
it's like, shut up.
That was the scene that day I met you, and that was so much fun. I'll tell you. I know you weren't happy because you were supposed to play the part that I had, and it was kind of weird how that whole thing went down. But
It is kind of weird.
But at the same time, you were totally supportive of me, which I needed at the time because I was really nervous about the part. And I think we pulled off some good scenes.
I thought, yeah,
it
some was pretty good. I think it was competent. I think it had a good production value.
Yeah.
I think the people were all right.
And I slapped you in the face with a frying pan. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And I had a big welt on my head.
But you also got to taste the sauce that I supposedly cooked. Was that good? That's it. Emerald, right? You said something about Emerald in that scene.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. That was good times.
Ah, those are the good days. But now it's business, right? I mean, do you look at this, what you're doing now, as art or business in terms of?
Fortunately, I still, it's art, but the business part of it, when it becomes just a business, or you're doing things that and you're putting out product, that's fine too,
Right.
because that's the way it is. Look at all the streaming services.
I know.
They need product all the time. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the product they're putting out there is pretty damn good. And a lot of it is just cookie cutter nonsense crap, but a lot of it's good.
All right.
Stuff that you'd be surprised about. The production value is high, it's very competent. But there's a difference between that. See, all these people have the promised land in their mind. Like, everybody wants a goddamn Oscar, man.
Right.
Everybody wants that kind of recognition.
Absolutely.
They want the big stage. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. Some people don't.
Most people.
A lot of people want the big stage. They want the recognition. To get the recognition, you've got to do something different now.
Right.
It's got to be different. Studios, biographies, that's the avenue, man. If you can do that.
Right.
Okay? But if you're not a studio, if you don't have the money, you've got to do something that's so well done, character driven.
Right.
Birdman, Silver Linings Playbook. Now, those films had big names. And if you're going to do it without names,
Right.
The days of Blair Witch
Right.
and Pi and all those great independent films, Laws of Gravity, Nick Gomez's film, which was a great one, there hasn't been a big hitter like that
Right.
in a while that has really captivated people.
And also, I mean, they can't get into the theaters. They can't get onto the.
That's a
streaming.
whole nother ballgame. Getting into the theaters now is impossible.
Right.
Right? Unless it's local.
Right.
Unless you've got a limited release, which you have to be eligible for the Academy Awards to get that recognition.
Right.
But you know what? I think there's room for both. I mean, the superhero movies have dominated, the big Marvel, the big extravaganzas.
Right.
And there's a lot of conflict there between the other types of filmmakers, but it's inspiring people to make different kinds of movies.
Well, let's go back. I want to still talk about Killer of Men.
Go ahead, bring it up.
So tell me, who are the other actors that you're acting
Well,
with?
John Peterson is the lead. He's a great actor. He did a great job.
Right.
Stacey Brown plays his love interest. She's a great actor. Bakito Myers plays John Peterson's partner. The two of them work for My Bodega. And that's pretty much it. That's the cast. I mean, it's like,
What is it? Does it have a rating or is it not rated?
Well, I would say it would be rated R.
Right.
Did the rating agency get a hold of it? I'm not even sure.
Right.
That's a good question.
So is it because of violence? Or
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing though. Like you look at the world today, and you'd think that it would be PG because of all the violence in the world. I mean,
True.
it's
People have become desensitized to it.
right. It's crazy.
The level of violence in films. But you know what? That's always been that way. I mean, it's like forever.
But is it more of like a mind trip than a violent trip?
Well, it has a mind trip. It has a mind trip twist to it.
Right.
Okay?
And that's what makes it, right? That's the twist.
Who is this person?
Right.
What is their objective? Where are they from even? I mean, even from this planet. I mean, so it's got a sci-fi twist to it as well.
Interesting.
So it has some elements to it that you wouldn't expect.
Right. Well, that makes for a good movie. I mean,
It can.
if it's not cookie cutter, it's.
It
right.
can. I mean, I know people that have made movies that have finished that they've done. They're still looking for distribution, and they go on the festival circuit, and they get recognition. They get nominated for things. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's you've got to really hit with something or somebody.
Right. Well, the question then is like, what is success? You know what I mean? Like to some, I think success is also a personal thing. I mean, there's the success that's actually tangible, like you get a lot of money, there's a lot of theaters, but success also for some people would be just making a film. You know what I mean? It's like
You're right. Success is different for everybody, and be careful what you wish for.
Right.
I don't ever look at it like, well, if I do this and have that, things are great. No, I don't think that way.
Right.
But I'm creatively driven. I don't have a choice.
I know.
Okay, so I'm not driven by a certain thing or a certain. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, there were times when I tried to put it aside and go, work in the mainstream world. I've had good positions. I worked for a damn insurance company as a claims examiner, and it was like, well, it's a good job. You get in, you move up. I was sitting there thinking, are you kidding me? I'd rather stick needles in my goddamn eyes than sit here. In this damn
and that would be a
office.
waste of your life doing that because.
But that's the thing. So everybody's driven by different things.
Right, and I think that I'm happy that the recognition aspect is coming. That's the whole thing. To
You
me,
never know. It can come. It can be there. You will see.
And it looks like it.
It could be.
Right.
It could be. It'd be nice. I mean, recognition's a good thing, but it's not the end all.
Right, but it's fun. I mean, what's the guy's name again? Carrie?
Carrie Woods, yeah.
What does he do? Again, I'm not that
Well,
familiar.
he's a producer.
Just basically, but a producer of big things.
Yeah, you're familiar with the Scream films.
Yes.
So he did those.
Wow.
He did that great film with Stallone, Copland. Remember that?
Oh, that was a great movie.
Did that one?
Did you enjoy that movie?
I did like that movie.
I thought it
a
was
lot.
fantastic.
I thought it was a great movie.
And it had all the
It's
stars.
character driven. You got some grit. You've got some drama. Yeah. And years ago, he did this film, Kids, he produced, which was one of the edgy films that came out back in the 90s. Rosario Dawson, I think, was in there.
Interesting.
So he's a well-known, very successful. He's a great producer. He's a great guy. So
How did he meet Zvi?
that's also a good question. I know the answer.
Wow.
Zvi was shopping his talents around as a director. Somebody saw some of his work from this particular film. Carrie Woods took a look at it. Said, I like what I see. So, but these are the things that are opportunities that don't always present themselves. So that's how tough that business is. Sometimes you hit with the right people, and sometimes
Timing is everything. Also, like that's something that I found out in life is that like if you meet someone at the right time, then things can just happen.
Think about those guys that went to school with Scorsese. I mean, Keitel.
Yeah.
They went to school with the guy. He puts them in a thesis film. I mean, you talk about a connection, but those things are rare.
Right.
Now, Keitel's still great, but Scorsese's your buddy from school.
Right.
Can't beat that. Puts him in Mean Streets, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, the trust that you have when you're younger, you can't make old friends. You can only make new friends, and people that you've worked with in the past that you established a relationship with. There's a different kind of trust you have for them than sometimes the people that just walk in through the door.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but not always.
yeah, absolutely. You think about like Brando. Brando comes to New York. He's a screw up. Goes to the actor's studio.
Yeah.
He's basically a screw up there for the first couple of years. People did not expect anything from this guy.
Right.
And something magical happened. And all of a sudden, Stella Adler, whose father was a legend in the Yiddish theater,
Right.
is like, you've got something. Now she invites him over to his house, and he's hanging out with Paul Muni, who he shared the stage with later on. So, look, opportunities and things like that, you could, look, there are people that have tremendous amount of talent.
Right.
Let's face it, okay? That will never sniff an opportunity.
Right.
So, it is what it is.
One thing my father used to always say is you have to have luck. And a lot of it, and that was his whole thing. And I mean, he lived to be 105. He lived after being shot, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people with a lot of talent out there. And,
Hell yeah.
But they just don't have the luck to meet or the drive to meet the people that could be.
It is what it is,
I know. But they lead happy lives, but they never reach their full potential, that they could have. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm happy that I'm really happy for you.
I'm working. I mean, I'm not.
No, but I'm
It is
happy
what it
that
is.
you met. I'm happy you met these people.
Yeah. But the
Because
important
it's-
thing to me is not to blow it up to be more than it is. I'm sick of seeing that
but
shit.
even having a relationship.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, when
yeah.
I was in Hollywood, I met a lot of people. I hung out with a lot of people, even though that didn't. I mean, it could have, you know, it could have been better for me in terms of what I could have done with what I had.
Right.
But still, to me, those are the memories I treasure the most.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, hanging out with Stevie Wonder, things like that were like things that.
Those are cool things, man.
You know, these are things that I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have in
yeah.
my mind.
Those are great. Those are great.
So, but that and $2.90, soon to be $3, can get you on the subway. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Incidentally, I've never ridden the subway in L.A. Did you?
In LA, I did because I went with my my family and my kids to go look at my old stomping grounds in Hollywood.
What is the subway like there?
It's the same, you know, except less crowded.
Is it like New York?
It's like New York, and you know, it goes to Universal. We went to Universal Studios with it. You know, it goes all around, all over the place.
It does.
I liked Hollywood the way it was back in the '80s, where
Yeah.
there was no subway.
Yeah.
It was still kind of like a small town, believe it or not. And now it's like Disneyland. It's just.
When I was out there, I was in the Valley.
I lived in the Valley.
I lived in
Before
one of
I
those
moved to-
monthly rental joints across from, what was it, Warner Brothers? Across from one of the studios out there, something like, NBC maybe, I don't know.
So you really lived. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I was in that area.
I lived initially in Burbank,
Well, I was in Burbank too.
and at the Oakwood Apartments, right across the street from Universal.
Oakwood
Studios.
is near Warner Brothers too.
Well, yeah, it's
I know Oakwood though.
right. The Burbank Studios is right
I
there.
know where Oakwood
right.
is.
And that's where I lived first with my friends. My cousin's friend Rodney Franklin had this apartment that Columbia Records gave him when he was recording an album, and it was a 2-bedroom.
Oh, that's cool.
I had my free rent, and
That's
if I'd
nice.
gotten there a couple of months earlier, the guy who played Tootie in Car 54, his name was Joe Ross, I think his name was. He died doing a comedy act on stage at the Oakwood Apartments. Everybody, you know, like all these old-time actors would live there. It was like
They still
condos.
put people that live
Yeah,
there.
it was great.
It's convenient.
And the first movie I worked on when I got there was right across the street, which was the movie The Twilight Zone, where I played a Nazi in Nazi-occupied France.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, that
Guy
was-
goes back or something.
You know, it was part of the movie, so it was that.
Oh, it was the movie, right? Because they also did an episode of that, I think.
Yeah, and Vic Morrow was.
Or
in
maybe it was the movie.
Vic Morrow was in it, and he died in that movie. He was
He
killed
did
by
die in that movie, yeah.
a helicopter crash.
John Landis directed that, I think.
He directed that portion. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a chance to meet him
Yeah,
through
yeah,
my
yeah,
friend
yeah, yeah.
Steve, who got me the part. Again, relationships. If I hadn't been in a movie in San Francisco and this guy wasn't the head of the extras in San Francisco, I never would have moved to Hollywood. I never would have gotten Cagney and Lacey. I
Right.
never would have been in The Twilight Zone.
Right.
I never would have had any of that stuff.
Right,
I never
right.
would have had my SAG card.
Right.
It was, or maybe I would, but I wouldn't have gotten it on Cagney and Lacey. So it's crazy, you know. Just life. It's again these little chance meetings that sometimes change your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes change is good and sometimes it's not, but there you roll with it.
Yeah, they never did the clock today, so I have no idea where we're at.
We'll just talk past the
Yeah, that's it. We'll keep on going.
Conflict. You just wait and see
Well,
what
this
happens.
thing happened again. This infomercial thing, it happened like just like last week that I got the part, and he said we're shooting on Wednesday or whatever it was. Whenever we did it, I can't even remember now. It must have been yesterday. It was yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. You know, like, and then it's over, and it's like see you later, and on to the next thing. That's the one thing about acting sometimes in film that freaks me out, is that you work so hard on these things, and unless it's a series, you do it and it's over, and then what? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I've done a bunch of things that waiting on to see the light of day, but that's what happens at that level.
yeah. I think I'm seeing that
You're done.
I got the message.
You
that
got
it
the
is.
message.
But you know, there's one thing left to say. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.
See you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.